orient, you should just naturally know this, to be honest, in your life, how this thing works. If you don't, sit with it. You need to know how your freaking brain sits in your head. Not to put it that way, but what you're going to do, you need to know what this looks like. So, top, this is the cerebrum, anterior, posterior, dorsal or inferior. All right? Sorry, ventral or inferior. Dorsal, ventral, you could also say superior, inferior, posterior, anterior. The big part of your brain is the cerebrum. Divided by the longitudinal fissure here to give you left and right hemispheres. How do I know that? Because I know this is front, this is back, left, right. This is actually close to a real-sized brain, BTW, if you were wondering. It sits in your skull like that. The lateral cerebral sulcus is actually pretty obvious on these models. It's this here. This is the only sulcus you need to know. This is the only fissure you need to know. Now the lobes, again, named, not again, I guess we did in the lecture. Named according to the skull bone under which they lie. Frontal lobe, parietal lobe, temporal lobe, occipital lobe, or occipital lobe in the back. The bumps, anybody? Gyrus, not the sandwich, right? It's not a urus. Gyrus, the bumps, the mountains, the hills, the peaks, however it is you're learning these things. Peaks is not an answer, gyrus is. What are the grooves? Sulcus or sulci, right? Multiple. The valleys, or however else, whatever phrase you guys are learning it. You need to know one gyrus. It is this one here, the cingulate gyrus.
Both sides?
Yes. Oh, hold on. I'm wrong. It's on the inside of the brain. Oops, my 5:30 group.
Uh-oh.
Don't tell. Yeah.
Oh my god.
It shows up. See how that goes? But we knew it. Anyway, it's this guy here. All right. Well, we'll see if anyone catches me. So cingulate gyrus, just above this white matter here, that is the corpus callosum, corpus callosum. What type of fibers in here? Do you remember? C word. Commissural. Communicating left and right hemispheres. This is where it goes. Above it, that's the cingulate gyrus. The fornix is this back here. So the fornix.
What does that do?
I don't know. Connects the hypothalamus to the hippocampus. Apparently. Hypothalamus, I imagine the hippocampus is back here then. It's really connecting your autonomic nervous system and your endocrine system to your memory. That's what your hippocampus is involved in, the amygdala and those types of things. You probably know better than I do, Josh. Oh. Well, if you've taken a psych class, you would know the hippocampus and amygdala. Because I don't teach those, so it's not in my memory either. I'm pretty sure it's involved with memory.
You'd be shocked how little you learn about the brain in psychology.
Oh, okay, just kidding. It's all about the psyche.
Yeah.
Where's the fornix?
This one here. So corpus on top. So there's two branches on the bottom. It's the longer one, if that helps.
Okay.
And it's got a little 11 just above it. The choroid plexus is depicted on this half. So if you have this brain, one half comes apart. The half that does not come apart, you can see this sort of red and blue. I don't know what number that is, 13 maybe? That is representative of the choroid plexus. The red and blue. The intermediate mass is labeled 22. Honestly, you guys, if there's a sticker here, put thalamus. If you remember very specifically, because I get this on the practicals, that's just how your brains are working. If you put intermediate mass, I know what it means. I know what it is. If you put intermediate mass of the thalamus, that's as correct as you're going to get. But thalamus will suffice. The pineal gland, 23 here. What comes out of it? Melatonin, right? Circadian rhythm, sleep, wake. The third ventricle we're showing as being here. So like in here, it's honestly a matter of reading the card. If it says name the space or something to that effect, and it's in here, third ventricle. But here's the funny thing about that, right? So 90%, if not more, of brain questions are going to be on the sheep brain. Just kind of an FYI. Some 80%, if I remember correctly, 75, 80% of the entire practical is specimen. Sheep brain and eyeball. A couple of model brains and a handful of the other models. So be aware of that. Hypothalamus here. Right? What's hypo mean? Below. So here's your thalamus. Below it is the hypothalamus, like 20. Mammillary body. Yeah, I didn't see it. It's not labeled on our. The weird thing is you can see it on the actual brain. I don't know where the mammillary body is, to be honest. I don't think it's shown on here, which trips me out that it's on the list. Because it's not even online. No, it's like it's in here. This is pons, medulla. It's in here somewhere. At any rate, whatever, I don't know where it is. If it shows up on the practical, I'll unshow it. So here is your brainstem. Now, what they'll do is they will ask, specifically really on the sheep brain, but they'll ask from this view. So it'll be up here is midbrain, pons, medulla. I prefer the lateral view. So brainstem, where this magnet is at, is actually the midbrain. Pons, and its notorious bulge, so there's the pons bulging. And then, I'll leave that one alone. At any rate, and then the medulla. Now, I can't really see it so well. So there's this line here, which eventually leads to the spinal cord and becomes the central canal. Corpora quadrigemina. It's right here. These you can see again a lot better on the sheep brain, so we'll go through them on the sheep brain. But superior, actually, you can see that. Superior, inferior colliculus of the corpora quadrigemina. So it's these bumps here. It's not very well depicted on this particular brain, but it is there. I'm actually, oddly enough, I think that's what showed up on the model was one of the eye, so be aware of that. The cerebral peduncle, it's just, I don't think it's shown here very well. It should be right around here. I just don't think it's depicted very well. So, what's the anterior part of the midbrain? We'll actually see that one a little bit better on the sheep brain as well. So obviously I'll make some emphasis on that. The fourth ventricle is here, actually depicted on this model. What they don't ask about, which trips me out, is the lateral ventricle. It's kind of shown on this half, but it would be in in here.
Okay.
So it would be a matter of, if it's a sheet brain, there would be a pin in it. If it's the model, there will be a sticker. Then you read the card. What does it want? Name this space, third ventricle. Then some of the cranial nerves. These actually look better on the sheet brain as well, but they are shown here. I'm going to just point this out because I'm here. That is the pituitary gland, dangling from the hypothalamus via the stalk, aka the infundibulum. We will see that next semester. So cranial nerves, from this view, this is the olfactory bulb, this is the olfactory tract. Coming out of the bulb, so do you remember the, what's the E bone behind this? Ethmoid, right? What's the thing that sticks up? Cristagalli. What was the flat surface around it called? Cribriform plate. So you guys learned some shit, right? That's good. Report that in my reviews that are coming up.
I learned some shit.
We actually learned some shit. I would die if someone put that in there. Nice. It actually wouldn't bother me at all. Now, what are the holes called on the cribriform plate?
I don't know, it's where all your nerves.
For what nerve? For what nerve? Olfactory nerves go through the olfactory foramina. We'll see this. I do talk about this in class. And then they sit and they bathe in snot, basically, in mucus, giving you chemical reactions so that you can smell. Those aren't shown here. At any rate, bulb, tract, olfactory. But the optic, again, this looks better on the sheet brain. So if you can imagine, my fists are the eyeballs. Coming off of the eyeballs, so kind of where my wrists are at, are the olfactory nerves. They cross, sorry, not olfactory, optic. Optic, so optic, your eyeballs. Optic nerves, my wrist. Optic chiasmas, where the X is at. So they cross. Chiasma, it is like Christmas. Going towards my elbow is the optic tract, which then makes its way to which lobe?
Occipital.
Occipital. Now on this model, optic nerve, chiasmas in here, optic tract here. Nerve, tract, sorry, gosh darn it. Nerve, chiasma, tract. MCT, that means anything to you. Now some of the more inconspicuous things on here. I'm just going to do this. I don't like the way they're showing this. So, bulb, tract, olfactory. There's the optic nerve, pituitary gland. They didn't even show cranial nerve 3. Cranial nerve 3 actually looks better on the sheet brain. Someone take this apart. Being asked to put it back together, but we don't care. Long hair don't care.
So relatable for you.
Yeah. I found it earlier. Where did it go? Cranial nerve 3. There you are. So, optic nerve, chiasma, optic tract. So medial view, there's 3. Do you see the 3 little lines? Oh, not up there. So there's cranial nerve 3. This actually does look better on the sheet brain, which is how they ask these, by the way. I don't even know why I'm wasting my time, to be honest, because they do all the cranial nerves in the actual sheet brain. Just maybe to give you sort of a point of reference. So 3 here, 4 over here. So oculomotor, trochlear. There's an I and a V, 4. Cranial nerve 5 is this one here. Trigeminal. And that's where that ends, thank goodness. That's the brain. The falx cerebri is only on, anyone have that model that depicts the falxes? I got yelled at, but this room looked like shit when I got in here. There's stuff all over the place.